Alright guys, had a little mishap with my camera. Battery died and cut the video short, the previous part of the series. So I couldn't finish telling you about the car. So I'm back now with a fully charged battery and we'll continue where we left off. The last thing I was talking about was one of the other modifications I made, which was to the wheels and brakes on this car, which brakes it had none. But as you can see now behind the wheels, you can see the rotors. I covered it in the builds videos, how I made the rotors and drilled out the wheels to give this car just a little more detail. You can see right through the wheels there, and the rotors behind it. Just adding a little detail. You know, a little note about this kit is that while this one didn't bring any brakes, the glued together version had a full brake package, wheels and brakes, rotors and calipers, which is just one of the extra parts which they included in the glued together version, which weren't included in the snap together one. Now here we have the rear tail lights. Now what I did here was that I applied bare metal foil, painted it with some Tamiya transparent red to give us a nice translucent reflective quality to the rear tail lights, as opposed to just using the vinyl stickers that came with the kit. And speaking of stickers, that was one of my biggest issues with this kit, was the fact that it had stickers instead of water slide decals. Well, normally I don't like the stickers because they are too thick, and these are paperback stickers, so it was even thicker than just a regular vinyl. But once I applied them and gave the car a nice thick clear coat, they actually don't look too bad. So I checked that, and then once I saw that, I was like, well, you know what, I can live with that. Did find out afterwards, if you're going to build this car, that there is a company out there that is making water slide decals for this particular model. So you might want to look into that if you're really not a fan of using the stickers on it. But as you can see here, once you apply them over paint and give it a good clear, they really don't look too bad. Now let's take a look at another modification I made here. Was the seam on the nose is completely gone, along with the seam in these these areas here between the three, let's just say, nose cones on this car, where the gaps were pretty evident, as the upper and lower halves of this front end were separate pieces. But if you look at the show, the Mach 5 never had a seam going across the nose. It was completely smooth and round. So that took quite a bit of work, but I got it done. Got all the seams are gone now. And with the nice smooth coat of paint, it looks as if it has never, as if it was never two separate pieces. I'm very happy with the way that came out. Alright, now let's take a look at the underside of the car, so we can see a couple other things that I added to it. As you can see here, I added quite a few greebles and some detail painting to the chassis, just to give it some visual interest. I still have one small part to put on the rear there. Forgot all about that. Gonna have to cover that. But all of these are from Metal Earth kits, various kits, which can supply quite a few greebles and adds just a lot of visual interest to the chassis. As the chassis was black or a dark gray, in the series. I decided to go with that. And then I just highlighted the X member for the frame in Tamiya metallic titanium silver. And then added all the detailing from all the greebles and gave them all a dusting of Tamiya bronze to give it a nice used effect. Not shiny and new, but it is a race car. So that really made everything blend in together, and I think really adds a lot to the chassis. Now here we see the lower half of the nose. You can see the headlights. These were done by just airbrushing the inside of the lenses into Tamiya transparent yellow. Very simple way to add a little color to the front end. Let's just put this back on here. Now, one last detail that I have to show you is the drone bird that's hidden in the hood right underneath this cover. Okay, here we go. You open the cover, you look inside, and there's Speed's little drone, which launches from the front of the car to do whatever it is Speed needs it to do. Now this was a really tricky item to get right, as once I trapped the door between the chassis, the interior, and the body, it wouldn't open completely to display the drone. What I had to do was, I explained in, I think, part 7 or 8 of this build, how, or maybe part 9, I forget exactly which one, how I had to re-engineer the hinge assembly to get this to open completely, to reveal the drone if I want to display it with the with Speed's equipment visible out, visible, and so that you can see what's going on in there. I also had to cut off a tab on the door itself. I'm probably gonna have to touch that up because the door will not open or close with that tab in place. So, as I liked all of the special features of the Mach 5, I wanted to incorporate as many of them as I could. And these are two of my favorites, which are the drone and the scope here at the end, behind the driver's seat. This kit, unlike the glue one, does not come with the front buzzsaws or the ion jacks that Steve uses to jump the car. It does have the pads for the ion jacks right there, those 4. So it does show them on the car, but the jacks themselves do not come with the car. Well, overall, this is the entire build. Again, it is a snap fit kit, but it is, don't let that dissuade you from picking it up, as I think it's definitely a kit well worth building, especially if you're a Speed Racer fan. Polar Lights did a pretty good job with this one, and I'm very happy with it. On my scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, I would definitely give this one a solid 7. There were a couple of fitment issues when attaching the chassis and the body and the interior together, which caused a bit of grief, and also getting this door to operate properly, which again caused some grief. But overall, I definitely give this a 7, and I would definitely say that it's something worth picking up. because even though it's a snap fit, you can make it look as good as any glue together, and you can add as many details as you like. It's pretty much an open canvas, this model, and I gotta admit, I was a little bit of a snap fit snob, where I wasn't really into the snap fit kits because I thought that they were just too easy or didn't have enough detail and weren't for me. But this one proved me wrong. Oh, let me give you another little tidbit about the body. The rear section here is a separate piece, but when I put it, as this is the rear engine cover that's designed to tilt open on the glue together kit to reveal the engine, which this car does not bring, nor does it bring the hinges that allow the flipping open action to happen. So when this part is installed in the body, you're going to have gaps around the rear fenders, which are there because of the fact that this has to open. And since you are using the exact same molds and pieces as the glue together kit with the opening hatch, you're going to see gaps there. Now, Speed's car never had those gaps, as this part never opened. So I filled all the seams, including the seam back here where the hatch pivots, so that it all just becomes one continuous part of the body. As I really didn't like seeing all those seams back there and the gaps back there, and the car was never rear engine to begin with, so I didn't feel it was something I wanted to leave the way it was. So sealed them all up, painted it up, and now there are no seams back there to be seen, and it's all just solid body work. Now, as for the body, it's painted in Tamiya Pure White with Tamiya Clear. The wheels were a shiny chrome. I painted them with Tamiya Semi-Gloss just to dull them down a bit, give them a little more of a realistic appearance. The interior is done in Tamiya Red Oxide Primer with then Tamiya Flat Red just sprayed on with an airbrush to dust a little color onto the interior, bring out the highlights while keeping the shadows from the Red Oxide Primer, and then some Tamiya panel liner paint to bring even more of the interior out. So there we have it. This is Speed Racer's Mach 5. Another project done, in the books, and going on the shelf. He is the newest member of the Automotive Avengers. Time to start planning the next build, which is going to be something I've really been looking forward to. And I'll tell you why on the next video for that project, or the first video for that project coming soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because you know, that gets these videos out. And if you like what I'm doing, spread the word, because I love building scale models. It's become a hobby that I've really started to enjoy again. And hey, Dan Morgenstein, I know you're still out there. You're my #1 fan, buddy. You keep up the good work, okay? All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one.